Assalamualaikum. I am Nafisa Omar and today I will discuss a literary movement, post-structuralism. Post-structuralism is a term for philosophical and literary forms of theory that both build upon and reject ideas established by structuralism, the intellectual project that preceded it. Post structuralism rejects the idea of a literary text having a single purpose, a single meaning, or a singular existence. Instead, every individual reader creates a new and individual purpose, individual meaning, and existence for a given text. We talk about post-structuralism with hyphen or without hyphen. With hyphen, as you can see from the left side on the screen, it denotes a time period, and without hyphen on the left side of the screen, it denotes features and characteristics of it. When it denotes the features of post-structuralism, and when we talk about the post-structuralism with hyphen, it denotes the late 20th century or it shows the time period. Post-structuralism origin. Post-structuralism is started in late 20th century in France. It is a literary movement in the opposition to popular structuralism. It was first time discussed by Jacques Derrida in 1966 when he delivered a lecture on structural sign and play at an international level. In this lecture, he attacked structuralism by pointing out the concept of center. Logocentrism exposed the paradoxes and problem of structuralism. Major post-structuralists are Derrida, published three game-changing revolutionary books in 1967. First one is of grammatology, second one is writing and difference, and third one is speech and phenomena. Roland Barthes published The Death of the Author in 1968. Michael Foucault published What is an Author in 1969. Jacques Lacan published Actrites in 1963. Scope of post-structuralism. Post-structuralists focus on the historical aspect while the structuralists focus on the descriptive aspect. In this context, they believe that by studying the history of cultures, one will be able to understand cultural concepts in the present day. Key features of post-structuralism are the author is dead, meaning is not fixed, philosophy, metaphysics of absence, no relation between signifier and signified, no binary opposition, writing and speech are complementary. These are the key features of post-structuralism. Key features. First key feature is that the author is dead. Roland Barthes says that reader replaces the author. Meaning comes from outside the text. It means that meaning is present in the mind of the reader or from their cultural and social background. As a result, meaning is different from reader to reader. As you can see in the right side of the image, a person who's pouring wine in the glass, that is prohibited in Muslims culture, and maybe that is okay in any different cultures. So that means that it means that meaning is different from reader to reader. Second key feature is meaning is not fixed. Derrida says that meaning is changing constantly from place to place and from person to person. He gave the theory of difference. In difference theory, he told us about differ and differ. Differ means not the same. Mean in they, say, and lay example, you can see D, S, and L are the alphabet that are not the same. Differ means something which continues. As you can see AY, AY, AY. These are the same alphabets that make a word day, say, and lay. Third key feature that is philosophy or metaphysics of absence. According to Derrida and the post-structuralist, meaning is changing because philosophy of absence. As you can see dash AY means you can write D, you can write S, you can write L. That is the philosophy of absence. The first letter is absent, which has the power to give different meaning to each word. Means you can maybe write here S, L, or D. Okay, the fourth key feature is no relation between signifier and signified. That is the key feature of structuralism. Lacan developed a theory that signifier and signified are not fixed in post-structuralism and constant, and hence they lead to different meanings at different times. For example, you can see in the left side of an image that is a tree. It may be a mango tree, it may be an apple tree. So that there is no specific meaning, there is no relation between signifier and signified in post-structuralism. No binary opposition. That is a key feature of structuralism, that the binary opposition is present in structuralism. But in post-structuralism, there is no binary opposition. Means male versus female. A male may have feminine qualities, and in the same manner, a female may have some masculine qualities. Light versus dark. We may change a day into night, night into dark, with the help of technology and science in the modern times. Sixth key feature, writing and speech are complementary. Structuralists believe that speech is superior. The post structuralists believe that writing comes first, then speaking. Let's see the example. We can't read this image because it is written in Chinese, because it is not written in our mind. For post structuralists, both are complementary. General differences between structuralism and post-structuralism. Structuralism, it is a literary theory, and post-structuralism, it is a response of structuralism. Structuralism, it can be related with the study of text. Post-structuralism, it rejects the self-sufficiency of structure. Structuralism, it studies the system of recurrent patterns of motifs. Post-structuralism study must be done on the basis of knowledge. Structuralism studied the underlying structure. Post-structuralism argues that study of underlying structure is the reason of bias and misinterpretation. Two types of differences between structuralism and post-structuralism that is discussed by Peter Barry in the book From Beginning Theory. First difference, that is theoretical difference, and the second one is practical differences. Theoretical differences can be divided into four categories: origin, second one is tone and style, third one is attitude to language, fourth one is project. Origin. Origin in structuralism discuss it derives from linguistics. It observes, collects data systematically and make logical deduction. It inherits scientific outlook. It believes in the system, method, and reason. It establishes a reliable truth. When we talk about post-structuralism, it derives from philosophy. It is skeptical by nature, questions notions and assumptions. It calls question what is usually taken for granted. Means question it called different questions. It inherits the habit of skepticism, assumptions. It does not believe in the scientific method. Second difference, tone and style. Structuralism tone, that writing of the structuralism tend toward abstraction and generalization. When we talk about post-structuralism, it tends to be much more emotive. Style is neutral and anonymous, and style is flamboyant and self-consciously showy. Structuralism tone is typically scientific writing and complete with diagrams. Post-structuralism tone is urgent and euphoric. Structuralism aims for a detached scientific coolness of tone. It is step by step in exposition. I mean, it doesn't expose totally by the method. Post-structuralism, it aims for an engaged warmth rather than detached coolness. Titles contain puns and allusions. Attitude to language. Structuralism accepts the world is constructed through language. We don't have access to reality other than linguistic medium. Post-structuralism reality in itself is textual. The verbal sign is constantly floating free of its concept. Words are contaminated. Structuralism considers language as an orderly system. That is why it is known as structuralism. Post-structuralism meanings are fluid and are subject to constant slippage. Metaphorical bases of words are used because of the skepticism assumption. Project. Structuralism it questions our way of structuring and categorizing reality, and post-structuralism it is much more fundamental. Structuralism it prompts us to break free of the habitual modes of perception or categorization. Post-structuralism it distrusts the notion of reality and the idea of human being is an independent entity. Structuralism believes that we can attain a more reliable view of things because of the specific structure. It rejects the intellectual ground on which the Western civilization is built. Second main difference of structuralism that is given by Peter Barry, that is practical differences. Structuralism analyzes post narratives relates to the larger containing structures such as the conventions of particular genre. Post-structuralism it exposes the textual subconsciousness. Structuralism looks for the features such as parallelism, echoes, reflection, and pattern, and post-structuralism it brings into the foreground and paradoxes and contradictions and aporia effect to show the unity of the text, and post-structuralism to show the textual disunity. What post-structuralist critics do: read text against itself, make surface features critical to meaning, shows disunity rather than unity of the text, focus on and analyzes the single passage, looks for breaks in the text. Conclusion. We may summarize the whole discussion by saying that post structuralism was a philosophical and literary movement which was the reaction against structuralism. It began with Derrida's lecture on structural and sign and play in 1966. Roland Barthes, Lacan, Butler, and others were the followers of the post-structuralists. Post-structuralism holds the argument that there is no single and fixed meaning of the text. The author's intended meaning has nothing to do with text. The author is dead. He finishes his creation. Meaning depends on reader, his social and cultural brought up. Meaning depend upon the reader's mind, what he perceives in the text. As a result, there are always multiple meaning of the same text. Criticism of post-structuralism. Post-structuralism was controversial. Many writers questioned the legitimacy of this theory. Norman Holland argues that post-structuralist theory was flawed due to the relying on Saussurian model Lange parole. Derrida talks about deconstructing everything, but after that, what's next? No direction has been given. They talked about multiple interpretation, and if there will be multiple meaning, who will decide that which one is right and which one is wrong? Derrida's writings were hard to understand, so mostly were tough. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any question, you can ask in comment box and like and share my video. Thank you.